FM, episode 294.
And what are we talking about today?
All right, so today is another one of those questions. As modern DIY musicians, we are constantly asking ourselves, but which is better, releasing your music as singles or as an entire album?
Okay. I would say from an artistic point of view, I'd rather do it as an album.
Yes, and that's what we have been sticking to up until last album, Sugar Fit. We'll have a link if you want to go and check that out. But we released that as a complete album. It felt so satisfying because it's a complete statement and all that. Mm-hmm. However,
well, no, I'm just saying that. I mean, artistically, for me, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I guess, if you're thinking about it from a, marketing standpoint and ways to try to get more interest in a record over a period of time, it's probably better to do the Waterfall Method.
Okay, good. So that's what we were going to talk about. So they call the releasing singles at a time that sometimes lead to, well, I guess that eventually lead to the complete album release. They call that the Waterfall Method.
Yeah.
And so up until, again, this album, we have been doing more traditional. The traditional way is with majors, sometimes they release one or two singles and then release the album, but it's not that far. The gap is not that far from the first single to the album release.
Yeah, but I just think that too, it might be even different for if you are an artist who is independent, if you are touring.
Yeah.
So if you're touring, maybe you do the whole record at one time because I don't know how that works. If you're going on tour, now you're starting to play songs that haven't been released to people. They haven't had that opportunity.
Right, yeah.
Whereas,
so that would make a difference.
If you are out and you're touring something and the record's out and they can kind of consume it as a whole.
Yeah, and then that way when they hear it live, they have something to automatically connect it to.
Yeah, that you can kind of have that aspect. Otherwise, you're kind of doing one song, then you're kind of adding songs as you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not quite sure how that works for touring artists. I mean, if you're not touring, then doing the Waterfall Method, just the whole way of kind of constantly keeping things in front of people.
Yes. So these
works a little bit better.
These are the 4 ways in which the Waterfall Method is working for us, and that's the first one is. Well, we talked about this a little bit last time. It is helping keep us excited about promoting because it's great to write the album.
Right.
And then you already know it and love it and then you're kind of in your mind you've moved on.
Yeah.
Like you said, you've written, I don't know, gazillion songs since the first song on this particular album was written. So it's a way to keep us excited about it.
Right. Yeah.
Because we have to constantly say, okay, how are we going to present this particular single? Or how are we going to promote it like we're doing the live stream and all that? So it adds that extra layer of, okay, well, I need to be concerned about these things because I'm releasing this one single and I want to call attention to it.
Right. And I think, that's the upside. But I think the thing that might be the downside of it is that I almost feel like it's never finished. So there's certain things where it's like, okay, I haven't, finished this mix or that mix on it, or I haven't, or as other ideas start to come that could kind of be related to that. It's kind of hard to say, okay, well, is it finished? And then you start wanting to rethink it, because it's still
always,
right, because it's not.
Because if it had been an album released at one time, that would be the period would be at the end of that sentence, no matter how you feel about it after it would have already been in the box, shipped, ready to go.
Yeah, so, even if you decide, okay, we're going to remix some or whatever, still that particular statement was done and out the door. Whereas I'm saying with these other ones, it's hard to say, okay, it's over. Mm-hmm. Just simply because, you have other ideas that could be related. And then it's hard to see, well, how do these ideas sometimes grow with another set of songs?
Right.
Because maybe if they're, mentally linked to other songs, maybe it's a little bit easier to segue. So I'm saying that to me is the downside. Is that sense of closure that you get when you complete an album and that album's gone is, to me, you know.
Yeah, and
that part you don't get that.
But I guess the sad part about what I found with Sugar Fit was that I didn't feel like people got a chance to actually discover, maybe, you know, probably a few people are actually digging in and finding, you know, I guess all the nuances, whereas I feel like we're on the third single coming up, which is One Love Find a Way. We're gonna have a live stream the end of this week, so I feel like by us releasing them one at a time, up until we get to maybe song 6, then it will give people multiple chances to come in. You know, we're on different playlists. You know, we had different people write about it, and people are sharing it at different times.
Yeah.
So it's given. So that's the second thing I'm going to skip down, is that it allows us to better nurture our people by having individual, you know, I guess promotions or things that we're doing that maybe we did all at once with Sugar Fit, but then it was over.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about it, but it's not the same.
Yeah, you don't get the same amount of intimacy with as many songs.
Right.
You know, and again, maybe that's something that, and as you guys, if you watch this, maybe it's something that maybe we missed. So meaning that maybe there is a way to kind of do that when you put a whole album out.
Yeah.
So if you've done something like that, where you've done a whole album, but in some kind of way was able to still foster that connection with each individual song.
Yeah.
You know, to kind of push different songs to, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because different songs kind of, even though they might be all kind of connected, you know, they might be able to touch different people.
Yeah. And I think we found it with the first 2 singles. The first one was Give Your Love Freely, and that seemed like that kind of got more of the reggae, the more traditional reggae crowd.
Right.
Whereas the second single was Every Heartbeat, which had a little bit more Afrobeat, and I could tell some of the people it overlapped as far as the playlist curators and blog people, and then others it's like, okay, that's slightly off the beaten path. But we said it's many flavors of reggae, so it's got you know, that world as a thread through them, but they're not exactly the same. So
I always look at it as just many different flavors of the African diaspora, as you would say. So you know.
Yeah, so it allows us to better nurture our people, which is what we've been doing, and to me, we've been doing a better job of that because we have this thing in front of us, this purpose for doing new things.
Right.
So we're not doing the same thing each week, you know. And then the other thing that I think has been good for me, which I hadn't anticipated, the next thing is that it allows us to be creative in a new way, because again, we don't want to keep doing the same thing. So it's made me say, okay, maybe we could do, you know, we're doing the live stream, we do the post. We've been going in and, you know, thinking about different stickers, you know, creating different, you know, merch from it, which is a new point to kind of get people into it, but along the way.
Right.
So for because each song is slightly different, we want to give it, I guess, renewed life.
Right, yeah.
You know, renewed interest. That it has made me think about do more creative marketing things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that was another aspect that has been beneficial. And then finally, another great way right now, you know, I don't know if you guys know, but we built our YouTube. We're almost at 37K, so we're excited about that. But we looked over at our Spotify and it's abysmal. So the releasing of these singles, we're pushing everybody to Spotify, because we're trying to build that community. So it's been another great way, as each time, you know, we go to the playlist curators and again, the bloggers and our people, our listeners, and try to get them over there. Because I don't think a lot of our people, most of our people are Facebook people. And it doesn't seem like there's so much Spotify. So whether it's getting new people in, because we did ad for to get people on Spotify, that maybe this is a good catalyst.
Yeah.
It gives us, again, a purpose.
Right, yeah.
To draw people over. It's like, hey, but it's the new single. You know, it's a new single, so come check it out. You know?
Yeah.
So, or even the live stream with the videos, it's kept me, you know, focused. Because I know we shot videos for all of Sugar Fit, but we only released a few, and it's like after a while I ran out of steam, and I think it's because it wasn't constantly in front of me that there's something coming out, and we need some new energy, to kind of get people engaged again. Whereas this time, I have the time frame. I'm gonna go ahead and get that video out because Friday is the day that we need to have it for our live stream.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It puts more pressure, gives me deadlines and all that. So it's been helpful in that way. But again, if you guys have, of course, we would love to. It was so much easier with SugarFit to just put to do the live stream. We did it at Grove, the kickoff, the launch, and then just have it out, But it kind of, after the first few weeks, it kind of felt like crickets. Only because, there was no real reason to come back and say, hey, check us out again.
And again, it might have been a thing of actually
not knowing,
pushing,
maybe?
Well, no, just pushing singles. It's like, I mean, there are ways to do it. You could probably, even if you have the whole album out, to say, okay, now we're pushing this single or we're pushing that single. That could better grow, an audience, whether it's on YouTube or an audience on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, right? So there might be ways of doing that where you can just put out a whole album and then, kind of think in your mind, okay, these are, the, I guess, singles that we want to kind of push from the album that are, I guess, clear, good representations of a record. I mean, and I can understand how the whole reason why you do an album is because they work well together, but you might have certain things that are standouts, and especially if you are a touring artist, you might have certain of these songs that have worked with your audiences. And so that could be, excellent feedback to kind of let you know, okay, well, maybe since these worked with our audiences, we can let them know, hey, this is available on Spotify, it's coming out this week, and, we're really kind of pumping this particular one, and we want you all to stream this one. So, hey, we know that this record's out already, but, we want you to really kind of go out after this one. We're putting out a video for it, and, hey, go back, revisit it again, check this one out. So
there probably are ways, like you said. So that was our question to you. What about you? What record release methods have you tried to, again, sustain interest? Because I think that is the big thing, is sustaining the interest for longer than the first few weeks. We love to hear about it, so make sure you drop it below. It helps other people who are coming to this video, and it helps us, because anything that we can learn from you guys, the better. And what else?
Yeah, and so we do have Obtainium Flow. We are doing the Waterfall Method, so we're live streaming
this Friday, June 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. One Love, Find a Way.
Right, we're having that one on Friday at 7 o'clock, right?
Yep, and we're gonna be premiering the video. So video, we're gonna be hanging out with you guys. It was a lot of fun last time, so we're hoping to continue, our tradition now of when we release the single, we do a live stream. It brings people in.
All right.
So, if you dig the vibe and you want to be a part of the tribe, be sure to
subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and
chicken grease.